seconds. All right, we are now recording. All right, we are going to go over showing time this morning, and I'm going to apologize in advance. I am not a showing time expert. I have learned it just from trial and error and going into it and kind of figuring out where things are. They have some great tutorials and some great, as you go in, it'll kind of walk you through and give you an overview of how to navigate the site, which is awesome. But I want to go through a couple things that we're going to go through today. We're going to start with a listing input and going from matrix into showing time to input showing instructions. And then I want to show on the buying side, scheduling appointments really quick and just giving you an overview kind of the showing time platform. And then we're going to dive into some reports and how to pull those that will be useful for you, not just with your current listings, but upcoming listings and also listing appointments. So that is our game plan today. If you have questions as we go along, or you see that I'm fumbling and you can add to the chaos, let me know what I'm doing wrong, feel free to jump in. You can either unmute yourself if you're on a computer, you can hold down that space bar and it'll unmute you while you're talking, and then let it go and it'll remute you. Or you can put a question into chat. I'll be watching that as we go along as well. So either one. All right, are we ready to dive in to showing time? Let me share my screen here. I'm going to stop my video and share my screen. All right. If you're having problems seeing my screen really big, up at the top, there's a green bar that says your viewing Christian screen. Next to that is a drop down with your view options. Make sure you've unclicked the side by side, and that will blow up the my desktop that I'm sharing here. Get the right screen here. Okay. So first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go into matrix, and I'm going to show you upon listing input how you can jump right into showing time to input your showing instructions. If you are not going through a listing and want to jump right through to showing time, you can do that right here on your dashboard. I have a hard time for some reason when I just type in the URL into a new, if I open a new screen and type in showing time, I oftentimes have a hard time getting in. So typically I'm coming into matrix and going in through the dashboard if I need a shortcut to go in and pull reports, stats, etc. So just wanted to point that out real quick, that you can get in. If you go in through the dashboard, it's a single sign-on, so it'll log you in automatically. So let's pop back over here to matrix. And we're going to go to input, and I'm going to use I've got a listing that's under contract that we're going to kind of use as our dummy here. So I'm going to pull that up. Maybe, come on, matrix. So from this edit screen right here, down here under other options, you can manage photo, manage supplements, and then manage showing time. If you make any changes to this, the screen that will pop up for you will, I'll just go into residential listing and then hit cancel submit. Yes, okay. Oh, it didn't do that for me because I didn't make any changes. But after you submit, there will be a box that comes up on your screen that'll allow you, as soon as you're done submitting a listing and taking it active, it'll be a link that looks a lot like this, a manage showing time. So we're going to use this link down here. And this will pop me right over to showing time, and I'm in this listing. So I don't have to input on centralized showing. You had to go in and input your MLS number, and then it would auto-populate stuff for you. If you use the link from your modification page, it'll go right into your listing, which is nice. So I'm going to walk through kind of top to bottom what all is on this screen. And again, excuse me if I fumble through some of this. This is a listing that was set up previously. So I'm just going to make some, as we go through, I'll show you how to make changes to it and try to frame it from the aspect of initial input here. Up here at the top, you've got these two toggles. This is the toggle if you were going to opt out of the call center and just do online appointments only, not use a call center to input your instructions, etc. This is where you would toggle this from yes to no. Down below, first section you get is your showing appointment type. So I'm going to change this for the sake of example to a courtesy call. You'll see up here at the top, it's asking me if I want to save my changes. I'm not going to do that as we go. Down here is the automatic request feedback. It's going to be defaulted to yes. And then the showing or the feedback template, if you want to use your own template, you can upload that, I believe, in the office setup or your, I'm not sure who uploads that, to be honest with you. I just use the ShowingTime feedback template. If you are using call center and required Spanish speaking staff, you could denote that right here. Right here, you're going to select whether the property is occupied or vacant. It's just a little toggle, yes or no. So those are our appointment settings. You will notice, I want you to watch something real quick. Down here under contacts, you're going to notice as I change the appointment type, you're going to get some other options down here with your contacts. So if you start up here and put it in as a go and show or as a courtesy call, some of these options down here are going to look a little bit different. It all depends. What populates down here in contacts is all going to be dependent on what type of showing you select here. The appointment required, confirm with any. This is where any of the designated contacts can confirm appointments, including yourself as a listing agent. This is the confirm with all. So everybody under the listing contacts that you have checked as confirmed, everybody has to confirm. So again, with the any, it's an either or. So if husband and wife are set up together, if one of them confirms, it's good for everybody. If you select the all, everybody has to confirm that you have checked down here below, and I'll show you that in a second. Your courtesy call, everybody's familiar probably with what courtesy call is, where they're receiving either a text or an email or push notification that there is an upcoming showing, but they don't have to confirm. And then a go and show, appointments are documented, immediately confirmed. Clients can still get text messages, emails, push notifications, or a call if you have them on call center, but go and show, they'll automatically be confirmed. So I'm going to do the appointment required, confirm with any. That way you can see all of these options down here. So your contact details as a listing agent are going to pull in automatically. You can change this or edit your information by clicking on the pencil right next to your name. And if you want to change your mobile number, office phone number, email, your text number, you can change that as well. You can change this to don't send text messages to yourself if you don't want to get those. So next is our first owner. I've obviously already input him. If I hit this pencil here, I can confirm his details or put in additional information. If they get overwhelmed with the number of text messages they're sending, you can certainly come in here and say, don't send text messages right here on this toggle. And then you can put in an email as well. The information that you put in this screen is going to depend obviously on your client and how they want to get notified. If they want to receive emails, make sure you're putting an email address into their contact information. Same with the cell phone number. If they're requesting to get text messages, you need to make sure you put a mobile number into their contact information. So this column here, again, this only appears if you are doing an appointment type that requires confirmation. Hold on just a second. Pam sent me something in chat that she can't see the screen. Are you all, is anybody else having issues seeing the screen? Okay. Okay, I think Pam's good. Carol, I can't make it larger on my end, I don't think. Even if I make my browser window bigger, this information doesn't get bigger. You might go up to the view options at the top. You've got a green bar at the top that says you're viewing Christian's screen. Go to view options and make sure you're not on side by side. Try to figure out what screen is over it. Some people are telling me there's a screen over it. The only thing you should be seeing right now is this input screen. Jan had a comment in chat to make your view options 100, view it at 150%. You'll be able to blow it up a little bit. Trying to figure out why your setting screens are over it. Let me go back out of here and come back in. See if you're seeing the same thing. If you're seeing the same thing, you're seeing the right screen. It might look a little funky. Of course, now I just messed myself up trying to do this. So this is the correct screen. Hopefully you're all seeing this. I don't have anything else over it. Okay. All right, I'm going to keep going here. Sally, check under your view options. You can blow it up. Jan suggested that you do 150%, so you might try that on your view options. That's a setting on your side, not mine, where I can't make it any bigger. Make sure you're not in the side-by-side view too. When you get to those up at the top, you've got a green bar that says you're viewing Christian screen. And your view options is just to the right of that in a drop down. Okay, I'm gonna go back in here now. All right, under my go and show, you can see that that middle column is gone. Let's go back to appointments, appointment required here. And then so your middle column here, this is who can confirm appointments. So I would set myself up if I'm not the one that's gonna be approving or confirming appointments. That's what I want selected. I can send myself just an FYI. If you hover over, throughout the site, there's these little question boxes. If you hover over those, you'll get an explanation as to what these options mean, which is pretty handy. So down here, I'd want to set my clients up to confirm appointment. And then how does he want to receive confirmations? Does he want text, email, push, or phone? I would select however he wants to receive. If he wants to receive them in text, I would select that. And then same thing down here with my other seller as well. So this middle column is confirming appointments. The column to the right here, these are notifications of confirmed or canceled appointments. Push notifications, those are if they've downloaded the ShowingTime app, they'll get push notifications on their phone. I haven't used that feature. Has anybody on used that feature, and do you want to talk about how that works? I haven't used it for clients. I use it for myself because I obviously have the ShowingTime app, but I don't recommend that my clients download the ShowingTime app unless they want to. And a push would be almost like you get notifications on your phone. It would be a push notification like that if they have the ShowingTime app, would be my guess. If anybody that has used those wants to chime in, feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, so hopefully all that makes sense in terms of the first time I got in here, I was super confused about how to set contacts up. Hopefully that helped clarify it a little bit. Again, over here, look at the columns. Middle column is your confirmations. That's or not confirmations, excuse me. Those are your, it says can confirm appointments. That's to approve appointments. The column here is after they're approved, how do they get notified? Down here in this drop down, I want to draw attention to this. This is share showing agent details with your clients. So this wasn't an option on CSS, it's an option on ShowingTime. If you want your sellers to know who is showing their house, not just company name, but the agent and their contact details, you would want to select, yes, share all agent contact emails. If you just want to share the agent's name and company, you can do that. You've got a lot of different options here. So the default is do not share. But if I want to share the agent companies, the showing agent's company only, I'd select that from the drop down. Feedback is going to be on, somebody asked a question in chat, if you want client to approve appointment by text but receive feedback by email, yes, you can set that up, Josh, and I'll get into setting up feedback. So here under this box or under this column, these are just confirmations. So if you just want them to receive confirmations via text to approve appointments, text only here. Once the appointment is confirmed, if you want them to receive a text and an email, you'd want to check both of those boxes. That's once an appointment is confirmed. Down here is a little box that says, how will this work? If you click on that, it'll give you kind of a scenario here. So when an appointment is made on your listing, Matt and Amy will be sent a text message requesting confirmation. After the appointment is confirmed, here's who receives what. So after you make these selections, if you want to make sure that you've done it correctly, hit this how will this work button and make sure that it's set up properly. The one thing that I strongly recommend, just as a best practice, especially on a new platform, is once your showing goes active, the first thing you should do after you've got showing instructions set up a mock showing. So go into the app or go online and set up a showing as though you're the buyer's agent, and make sure, tell your clients you're doing this, tell them what time you're doing it for, and then make sure everything's firing on all cylinders. So, you set up the first showing and tell them, okay, I've set it up. Have you received your text message? Did you get your phone call? Did you, make sure everything is working properly. I do that every time I take a listing active. It's part of my marketing plan that I give them in a listing appointment. I make sure that everything is working right. While I love technology, I don't always trust it. So I want to make sure everything's working properly. I'm going to change that back to the default. Down here, advanced notifications. I have never clicked on this, so I'm not really sure what we're going to get here. Let's see, advanced notifications. Okay, so this is if you're in appointment required and the clients have not confirmed an appointment and you're verging on missing an appointment, you would come to this screen and say how you want to be notified. Do you want escalation sent to you as the showing agent, or do you want them sent to the occupants, or both? So hopefully that made sense. I've never clicked on that, but that's pretty cool there. I know that's a thing. If you opt out of call center, I've heard from agents that that's one thing that they weren't really excited about, because if you're opted into call center, the call center will call if an appointment is verging on being missed, declined, or canceled. If you go into advanced notifications here, you can make some selections and you can get a text message, an email, it'll be a recorded call or a push notification, which is nice. So that's still an option even without call center, which is nice to know. Okay, as I come out of this screen, before I move on, does anybody have questions on the contacts? I didn't cover down here how to add a new co-listing agent, but you can add a new co-listing agent and another owner occupant down here. To my knowledge, you're not limited on how many owner occupants you can add. Before I move on, does anybody have questions about this contact screen? Yes, you can. Mary asks if you can set this up in pre-MLS. You can. If a listing is in pre-MLS, you can go ahead and come into ShowingTime and set all of your stuff up, which is kind of nice. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions come through on chat. I'll continue to keep an eye on it. Let's move on to restrictions. So down here, you've got two toggles: allow inspections and walkthroughs to be scheduled. That's a toggle yes or no. Same thing with appraisals. It's a yes or no. Down here is where you would set up your advanced notification. So this was originally set up as a go and show. If you needed 24-hour notification or no same-day appointments, you'd select that. If you just want to do a lead time, if I want them to have a 1-hour notice, this is required. So agents cannot set up a showing within an hour. I could have that at 0 and I can have suggested at an hour or 2 hours. So if the client's like, we prefer an hour, but we can get out sooner, then you might do the suggested there. There's 2 different options there. One is required, one is just suggested. Down here, your maximum appointment lengths. Right now I have because we're not doing overlapping showings, I've changed all of my maximum appointment lengths to a half an hour. That way, you know, when this came on the market, I had quite a few showing requests and I wanted to make sure I could accommodate everybody that wanted to see it. So I changed the maximum appointment length to 30 minutes. And it seemed to work just fine. I didn't have any issues on that. So I'll probably go back to an hour once we're kind of back in normal environment. But right now I've got it set to 30 minutes on this listing and would recommend that. Down here is overlapping appointments. The default is no, and right now you need to make sure that that is no. We're not allowing overlapping appointments in the marketplace right now. So when we're back in normal environment, you do want to make sure that you come in here and select, you know, if you do want to overlap, you've got 2 different options here. One is no need to tell the showing agents, and the other is notify the showing agents if there's overlapping appointments. And then the no overlapping is the no, exclusive showings only. If I need to add a new showing rule, I do that right here. So if I have a showing restriction, kids nap time, it's going to be every day from noon to 2 p.m. I set the time here. If I want it to be a one-time rule, I want this to be every day. So I'm going to check every day here. If I just needed to have it for maybe a 3-hour, the house is getting clean, cleaners are going to be there, I can do the 1 day here and set the date. And then I'm going to do save showing rule. Oops. I'm going to have it start today. Go out to a couple months. Okay, save showing rule. I can have as many of these as I want. If I want to edit, I'm going to edit. If I want to delete, I'm going to delete that right here. Okay, any questions on appointment restrictions and input on that or features there? All right. Access information. This is pretty self-explanatory, very similar to what you had in CSS. You've got a drop down here. Most of us are going to be on the Super iBox. Alarm details. If you want to put in your serial number for your iBox, you can do that here if you've got a CVS code. When you're at the house setting up your lockbox, you can program it and get your CVS code if you want to put that in. That way, if you've got this selected up here that inspectors or appraisers can come in, you might want to put that CVS code in here. If keys are not available at the house and available somewhere else, you would put yes here, and then you put in an address or a location. Down here are your additional instructions. These are, top box is notes for appointment staff. So that's for showing time. Down here are notes for the showing agent. These are what gets sent out to the showing agent. You can add from, they've got a predetermined list here that you can just check boxes if you need to. We'll add that one. You can add as many as you want to in here. I got a message in chat about the CVS code. Who sees that? If I believe the only people that see that are those that request access that have a iBox but need a CVS code, like an inspector would be a good example of who would see the CVS code. And then the last box down here are your driving directions. These will auto-populate from Matrix when you bring it over, by the way. Okay, any questions on this page so far on input? The first time I came in here, I was completely overwhelmed with how many options there were just because it looked so much different than how we did this in the past. But once I started dissecting all of these, it's really pretty easy. You can copy instructions over from another listing. Here are your options right over here, and we'll get into some of these here in a minute, but you've got some bells and whistles over here. We're not going to go through all of these, but I would recommend going into ShowingTime and just kind of playing around with these. That's how I learned everything. It's just coming in here and playing around. You do have some toggles up here at the top. Restrictions and exceptions, if you want to add those, it was on our default screen down here with restrictions, but if you want to add that quickly from a calendar view, you can just select that screen here. Josh, it doesn't populate. Josh asked if it pre-populates from incoming status. It won't, not while a listing is sitting in incoming status. As soon as it goes live, then those things that auto-populate will be brought over from Matrix, but you still are going to have to come in as soon as it goes live into active status and put in your showing instructions. But I don't believe that you can input showing instructions while something is in incoming status. But I'll write that note down, but I don't believe you can. You can in pre-MLS. I don't think you can when it's in incoming. Alan asked a question, does the copy instructions copy the listing you're currently? That's a good question, and I don't know because I haven't used it. Let's hit copy instructions. See what happens. Let me get another listing. We'll use this one, 2210417. We're just going to play with this and see what happens. Hit continue over here. Okay, so it looks like it's copying from another listing into this listing. And then you've got options as to what you want copied. I think that's how this works. I'm afraid to hit the copy and return to original listing. Looks like it's copying over to, I got that wrong. It looks like it's copying from the listing I was on to the one that I just input, that MLS number I just input. Again, I haven't played with every option in here, so I'm learning as I go. Okay, so restrictions and exemptions, again, you can add that here from the calendar. You can add new rules from right up here. Listing data, you can come in here and add any listing data that you might want to add in here. I don't think most of this is going to come over automatically from MLS. Obviously, not all of it does. If you want to come in and input more information, you certainly can. But I don't feel the need to come over here and input a bunch of information into ShowingTime. It's already in MLS. So I feel like this is kind of a duplication of efforts and not a good use of my time. Okay, any questions before I move on to another topic here? That brings us kind of the end of showing instructions, inputting listings into ShowingTime. So I'm going to pause for a second and I'll answer any questions or any features that you see up here that maybe I didn't go through that you want me to look at. All right, everybody good with that? Not seeing any questions in chat. Feel free to either put it in chat or you can unmute yourself. Either way. Either way. Sally asked if I can explain push again. So push, if you have the app, like on your phones, you'll get notifications from your app. Like I have the KMBC, the Channel 9 app on my phone, and I'll have notifications that pop up. They don't come through in a text message, they just come up on my notification screen on my phone. So if a client or if you have the app, you can elect to have the push notifications and they'll come up on your phone like an app notification. It won't be a text or an email. It'll just come up in your notifications. Does that make sense? For the clients to have push notifications, they're going to have to download the app. Okay, very good. Okay, the one thing that we didn't see in here that I'm not seeing is feedback. I know it's over here somewhere. If anybody's on here knows where I can find it. I'm gonna go to the listing activity report. Let me look here at, nope, I don't want that one. I think this is just activity. I'll highlight that in just a second. Trying to figure out how you select your feedback to go out to clients. All right, I'll see if I can't figure that out here in a second. Someone said it's on the far, oh, there it is right there. I was looking in the wrong spot. It is on the far left, feedback. This is where you can update your form. If you want to do a custom form, you actually don't have to do that from the office. You can do that in here. I just use the ShowingTime form, but you can do that in here if you want to. I've got a bunch of office stuff in here because of my admin privileges on ShowingTime that I don't think that you'll have, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't see here how I can, this would be feedback if I had feedback from my showings. We'll go the last 30 days and see what I get. Yeah, this is just feedback that I've received. And then listings I've shown, I don't have anything in there from the last 30 days. Looks like I can select it from right here though. It's already set up for me and the homeowner. I believe, I think that's an input. Sorry, this is where I fumble through stuff because I haven't done a ton of this. I'm gonna go back. Take me back.
Christian, what is it that you're looking for?
How to set them up on feedback.
Oh, like how to have them receive the feedback?
Yes. Thank you for chiming in. I'm glad you're here. That's why I asked you to be here.
You bet. Are you, well, I usually do that through My Home Compare.
I do too.
Or My Home Sale.
My Home Sale. That's how they get it ditto. So I don't know how to do it on here.
Christian?
Yeah.
If you go back into your listing and then go to listing activity report. Okay, so you see that feedback responses in the fourth column over. No, on your.
Oh, down here?
Yep, fourth column over to the right.
Okay.
Available to homeowner.
Am I in the right column here next to notes?
Oh,
right up here, available to homeowner. I got it. Okay.
And then you can choose individually to publish the feedback to the seller or not.
Okay.
So now you
come in so Alan, do you have to come in every time you receive feedback and make it publish it? It's not an automatic?
I do, for the peace of mind of my sellers.
Okay. Interesting. I thought there was an option for them to get it automatic. I use My Home
Well,
Sale.
there could be. I do it individually.
Okay. Well, at least now we know how to do it individually.
I like to read it first. I like to read it first and see if it's, instructive or not. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hear you. Somebody asked where you set up the feedback. It's right here. This is where you set this up for what goes out to the showing agents. You would say request feedback, yes, and then the template. I don't have a template set up. I just use the ShowingTime template. But again, if you want to set your own up, that was over here on the far left-hand side under feedback. You can set up your own template.
And I believe that custom templates are only available if you have call center on for that listing.
Okay,
I might be wrong.
I'll find out. I'm writing my notes. I've always just used the ShowingTime one. Okay, I'm going back through chat to make sure that I didn't miss something. Okay, I think we're good. Anybody have any other questions before I move on here? Okay, I am going to go, just for sake of time here, I'm going to go to reports next. I think everybody is pretty familiar with how to set up showings, coming straight over from Matrix. So I'm going to save that for the very end. For those that aren't comfortable or don't know how to do that, we'll do that at the very end. But let's head over to reports and look at the reports that you have available in ShowingTime. And Alex, feel free to chime in on these because I know you use these often. I will tell you, your report screen is going to look different than mine. I'm set up as an office admin for all of our offices. So I have several reports that you won't see. The reports that you see that I'm going to highlight are the activity on comparables report. This is a pretty cool one. Agent activity report, the agent listings report, listing, skip down here to the listing activity report, the showings I have requested, and then target market analysis. It's all the way down here at the bottom for me. When you go into the report screen, if you're not quite sure which to pull, these little question marks that are next to stuff does a good job of explaining. And if you click this learn more, you'll go to their knowledge-based learning here, and you can watch a whole video on how to do these. They've got some awesome videos. So if you get stuck and you're not quite sure what to do, hit that little question mark and hit the learn more, and you can go watch a video. I'm going to go through most of these with you today. So on the activity comparables report, I'm going to click over here, run report. In all the reports, your options are going to be right up here at the top. And once you set your options, then you're going to hit submit. I will tell you on the activities on comparables, this is a report that you can pull. I'll go back to the description here. This is a report that you can pull to see what agents have shown properties in a specific price range, in a specific area, whether that be an MLS area, a neighborhood, zip code, etc. So you can get a sense as to if your listing isn't being shown, and you can see in the target market analysis that others are being shown, you can come in here and find out which agents are showing and contact them directly with marketing information or whatnot. To run this report though, there has to be listings within our offices, at least 3 listings within our offices for the information to populate. So if you get a screen that says nothing, let me pull one that I pulled earlier today and I'll show you what I mean. I think I was in zip code. Try this. Oh, nope, it wasn't that one. This one. This one, no listings found. So there has to be listings within our company, within our offices that are active for this data to pull up for you. I hope that makes sense. It's not just your own listings, it's our company or office listings. But you saw that I was doing 4 to 450 and I put in zip code 66223. If I have a listing sitting in 66223 that falls in this price range, it's not getting shown, I might come in here and pull this report and I'll do the last 7 days. I'm clicking up here on timeline. I can do the pre-populated or I can do specific dates. It's not letting me submit now. That's great. And come back in, reset it. We're just going to go 400 to 450, and I'm going to pull this 66223. It will give you some tips as you're in here. It comes up every time until you hit this X button. And this explains to you that you need the 3 active listings within your office that match the search criteria that you're putting in up here. I know that's kind of confusing, just the way this report is set up. So I'm going to hit submit. Of course, now it's not working. Let's try a different zip code here. Alex, what am I doing wrong here? These worked for me a minute ago. There we go. I got one to work. Trial and error. So this is going to show the showing agents over here. You can sort this alphabetically, and then it's going to show you which properties they showed. So if you want to reach out to these agents individually, you've got email addresses right over here to reach out to them. Thank you. It looked like I still had the 7-day restriction applied. So if I want to change and go the last 30 days, I can do the last 30 days, and I have a long, long list. To my knowledge, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I can't, I can download this as a PDF, but I can't, I've had trouble trying to copy all of these agent emails and sending one mass email. To my knowledge, you've got to kind of copy them individually if you want to reach out to these agents. Does everybody kind of get a gist of what this report includes? So this would be for listings that may be stagnant, not getting showings. Maybe you have an upcoming listing and you want to reach out to these people. It's in pre-MLS and let them know it's going active tomorrow. Any questions on this report before I move on to the next one?
Just
Okay.
a reminder that it only shows activity within our offices. It doesn't show activity. So like if you've got a neighbor's house that's listed with another company, you're not going to be able to see what agents have shown that house. So.
Correct. It's just our company listings. And there has to be 3 of them for it to pull. Okay, next one down is agent activity report. We'll go into that one real quick. This is activity for you as an agent. So any listings that you have up here, it's kind of a dashboard for you. New listings, status changes. This is activity on your active listings. Feedback, waiting responses. This is kind of your check-in, see if there's anything outstanding that you need to do. This also is going to show up on your dashboard, which I'll show you in just a minute on the home screen. But down here, it'll give you a timeline of what's happened. Probably not a report that I'm going to use all the time, but just wanted to show you what it is. Any questions on that report? The next one that you have access to is the agent listing report. This is a report that I would pull for listings. You know, as I'm updating the seller every week on activity and whatnot for houses that are still active, I'd come in here and pull these reports. I could also get to these reports from inside my listing. So if I go back to, what is my MLS number on that one? Hold on one second. 5709. From right here, I can click this listing activity report without having to go into the report screen, and it'll give me a nice activity report here. This is where we were at earlier looking for the feedback. But if I want to view it, the homeowner version, I click here. And then I can download this PDF and include it in my weekly seller reports. That's, I think, an easier way to get to your listing activity report than coming down here to the listing activity report. Oh, I did not mean to click on that. This is that same MLS number, same report that you just saw when I was in the listing. Just two different ways to access it. Any question on that report? I'm not going to spend any time. The showings I have requested, you can certainly go back and pull history. You can go back a full year. They actually have data from before we switched from CSS to ShowingTime. If you want to see every house that you've shown, maybe you want this for your tax records or your accountant. But this is a report that you can pull all of your showing activity. And you can, if you put buyers in, you can do it by buyer. So if you want to see how many homes you've shown a specific buyer, you can do that right from this report. Pretty straightforward one. The last report, and I think probably the most useful report out of all of these, is our target market analysis. Again, if you click on the little question mark next to it, you're going to get some more information. And if you hit that more button, it'll go over and it'll show you how to use this report and how to generate some good information from this. But let's walk through it real quick. I'm going to hit run report. This should look familiar. It looks very similar to the activity and comparables report. You put in your data up here. If I have a upcoming listing, let's say it's in 66208, and before I go on my listing appointment, I want to take this report with me just to show my sellers, potential sellers, what showing activity has been like in their price range in 66208. Down here I can put in zip code, or I could even put in a subdivision, school district, MLS areas. I try to keep this as broad as I possibly can. If you get it too narrow, you're not going to get good results. So down here, I'm going to bracket their kind of approximate price range. We'll keep it pretty broad. And right now it's pulling the last month. That's what it defaults to, is the last 30 days. We're going to pull the last 60 days. As I click on this, it will go ahead and hit submit for me. So this shows me, it breaks it down by pretty big price increments. If I want this broken down even further, right here under increment, if I want this done in $25,000 increments, I'm going to hit submit, and then it breaks it down for me even smaller. As I mouse over these, I can see the number of showings will pop up. So this is great information to either show as you're updating sellers that have an active listing. You want to show them what's going on in the marketplace. Maybe they're not getting showings. You want to show them that everybody is in the same boat. You know, pull this report. You can download this. You can print it. You can email it. It's also a great tool. I use this a lot when I go on listing appointments, just to update sellers on kind of what activity has looked like in the past, 30, 60, 90 days. So down here, it breaks out the information up here into columns for you. So it gives you your total number of showings, again, in these $25,000 increments, monthly average, weekly average number of showings, and then your showings per listing total. And this data is married with the active listings. Alex, anything else on this report that you think would be valuable for everybody?
This is what I've been using right now just to gauge activity per county. The only thing that I wish that this had was selecting a county. You have to go through and manually input each area, and some of the areas overlap. So
Yes.
It is nice to be able to pull, like if you've got if you have a neighborhood that you're looking to farm, or if you're wanting to farm your own neighborhood, tracking the activity in that neighborhood is definitely worthwhile right now. People are wondering what's going on with the market. So I would use this to put together some information for folks for sure.
Let's look at, I'll show you how I'm pulling. Alex is doing it a little bit more broken down than I'm doing, but I'm looking at stats on a weekly basis just for the entire market. And when I talk about the entire market, our MLS area is huge now. I mean, we go from Maryville down to, I mean,
Fort Scott.
yeah, thank you. I was trying to think of what was in the southernmost tip. So it is a huge, huge area. But I'm pulling and just tracking weekly numbers just to kind of get a sense as to the health of the market right now. And this is how I'm pulling showing data, is this report. So I'm going to go, I'll come in here clean and show you how I'm pulling this. So I adjust our price bracket. I go to no minimum, and then the maximum on here is 10 million, which is fine. We don't have a whole lot of homes listed over 10 million. And then my start date, I'm going to pull this on the calendar. I want to pull it for the last week. So I'm going to go Monday through yesterday. Oh, that pulled March. So I'm going to do Monday the 20th through yesterday, which was the 26th. And I don't put anything down here. I want to use the market-wide data. I want to get as broad as I possibly can. And I hit submit. And then I can see here, take this total right there, and I know how many showings have happened in the market. Total market, total MLS area in the last 7 days. And this is about, I can just tell by kind of ballparking this, this is about on par with the week previous, which is good. So it looks like it's up just a little bit.
Yeah, it's up MLS wide. On the Kansas side, each county is down just a little bit, probably due to inventory going off of the market. The showings per listing was up in a lot of the counties this last week, but the number of showings were down.
We're down. I wish it would show you on here the total number of, it shows you the showings per listing and weekly. I wish it would show you the total number of active listings, just so you can see what.
Sure, you can do some quick math and
you can
figure it out. Yeah.
It'd be nice if they had that as a column though, so I didn't have to break it out.
I agree.
Anybody have questions on this report in particular, or curious just about other ways to use this report? Or can you think of other ways? How have you used this report? This report to me is probably the most valuable that's in ShowingTime. And you can get pretty specific and pretty narrow on these. The subdivisions, if you start typing in a subdivision, it's going to pull right from MLS, which is nice. But if you've got a particular subdivision you're watching, you farm, this is a great way to come in here and pull data for that subdivision and see what's going on. You can, I haven't used this, but you can bracket, you can filter down by the number of bedrooms. It's about the only filter they have outside of your big city zip codes, subdivision, school district areas, et cetera.
Yeah, the fields that they have available don't make a lot of sense to me, but it is what it is. It's supposed to be used as a broad tool, so.
Yes, and it is. It is a broad tool. Okay, I know I went through all those reports really fast. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. And again, if you have questions when you're in that report list, you can always look at right below, there's a description of what it is. And then some of these that are a little bit more confusing have this little info button. So click on that, read it. If you want even more information or want to watch a video specific on that report, click that learn more. You get to the reports again by way over on the left-hand side, going to reports. And again, your list is going to look a little bit different than mine. You've got access to 6 different reports. I've got some office level reports on here. I do want to show you really quick just your dashboard in ShowingTime. If you come in using the single sign-on from MLS, you're going to end up on your dashboard here. If you want to edit your profile, you can do that right here. If I click on edit profile, I've got all sorts of different things. You can down here, I wanted to show you this really quick because I think it's valuable. You can set some preferences here on when you have new listings that come in, you can set up kind of your defaults. So you can do that right down right here on this edit profile page. How you want to be contacted. Got all sorts of options here. You can even put in your spouse's name, your anniversary, and your birthday if you'd like to. Patty, the target analysis reports, if you go under reports over here on the left, it's going to, excuse me, be your very last report. Pardon me, hold on just a second. You got me all choked up, Patty. Okay. So again, back here on your dashboard, if you click that edit profile, that's where you can set all your defaults, which is pretty handy to do. I'd recommend that you go into ShowingTime, just play around with it, but go into your edit profile and set up those defaults for you now, for yourself now. That'll save you some time on listing input. There's some other things here that, you know, ShowingTime requested. You can see what's confirmed. My numbers are all 0. If you want to schedule a showing, you can do that right from here as well. So I am going to show really quick for those that, that do need this, just the process to schedule showings. You can do it right from here. The more common process you're probably going to go through is going through MLS. So let me pull up a recent search here. And if I'm in, I just pulled up one of my recent searches, but if I'm in detail view, right here, I can do schedule a showing and it's going to pop me over. Maybe it's logged me out. That's handy. Okay, close that. Now try it again. Okay. So now it's popped me over onto the ShowingTime, and I apologize that's so small. I can't make it any bigger. That's how big it is on their site. This gives me any information, the appointment type, my information, and then I've got to agree to terms and conditions. I can do 2 things here. I can schedule a single showing. If it's the only property I'm going to show, I can go ahead and hit schedule single showing, and then I come over here and I select my day and time that I want. So if I want to show this at noon, here I can select what type of showing it is, just a regular showing. And then this is your end time. It defaults to 15 minutes. So make sure that you, on your end time, if you want an hour window, make sure that you're using that drop down. And then if you've got buyers in here, you can select which buyer you're showing. And then any additional notes, this will go to the listing agent. So that's a feature that we didn't have on CSS, but you can send a note over to the showing agent or listing agent, excuse me. I'm not going to hit next or yes because it'll confirm my appointment and this poor agent is going to think that she has a showing at noon. So I'm going to X out of here. If you want to set up multiple showings on multiple properties, if I go down here, I can 2 different ways. I'm going to show you the hard way first, and I'm going to show you the easy button. So if I go schedule showing, I'm going to do add to showing cart. And then I've got to put in information here and hit OK. And then I've got to go back to MLS and add more. Easier way to do that. How do I cancel out of this? I'm just going to close it. Right down here in your options at the bottom on MLS, showing cart. it'll put that in your showing cart. I forgot a step there. So hold on a second. So I'm going to go back to residential line. If I want to show all of these, I'm going to select what I want to show and then hit that showing cart, and it'll take all of these over into ShowingTime for me versus having to go through and do them one at a time. That's how you can schedule multiple showings at one time. We used to have a little button here in a column and it's gone. So now they've added this option down here at the bottom. But that's how, if you're doing multiples, you don't have to go in and do them all individually. You can just, again, if you watch my CMA class on Friday, you might have learned that I like using carts for sellers. I also love using carts for buyers, and this is why. I put everything I want to show into a cart, and then I can just go into their cart and hit this all button, hit showing cart, and I'm right over into ShowingTime, scheduling my showings, which is handy, handy. Okay, it is 11:31. I said we were going to end in an hour. I've covered everything that I wanted to cover today. If anybody has any questions or they want me to go back through something, I'm happy to hang out for a few minutes and answer that. I appreciate you hanging out and watching me fumble along. Again, with ShowingTime, a lot of it for me has just been trial and error. I'd recommend you do, you're not going to break it. Get in there and you know, start clicking on things, learn where things are. Once you know where they are, once you've set up some defaults, it's a pretty easy, pretty slick system to use. But again, I'm happy to hang out for a few minutes and answer any questions.
Crystal, or Crystal, I'm sorry. I have a name that just texted me named Crystal. Christian,
Yeah.
This is Pam, I'm sorry. Is there a way to export those reports, or where you just show those to your clients? On your
Excuse me, my throat got really dry all of a sudden. There is a way to export it. So in the, when I'm in here, let me just submit on one of these. Right over here, you can email reports.
Okay.
Print it or download it.
Thank you. I didn't see that. I might have missed it.
You bet. I probably didn't. I don't think I highlighted that real well when I was in reports. But yeah, it's right there in your options.
Thank you.
You bet. The class was recorded, so you're welcome to watch it again. I got a question in chat about that, but it was recorded. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording now.